All right, good afternoon and welcome. My name is Oskar Wikström. I work as an analyst with ABG, where I follow Elos Medtech, one of my companies. And we have John Wahlström with us today, who's the CEO, who will present the company. And I just leave the word to you, and please go ahead.
Thank you, Oskar. And thank you all for coming and listen to this presentation when I'm going to talk about Elos Medtech. I'm going to go through a presentation of the company, the business areas that we work in, what we offer to our customers, the development we have, and how we believe that we can continue to grow as a company. So what kind of company is Elos Medtech? Well, we are a medtech company. We focus 100% on medical technology. So everything we do follow a lot of strict guidelines. We work with a lot of ISO certifications on 13485 and so on. And why this is important is that we are a manufacturing company, and as a contract manufacturing company, you set the company up in a specific way when you work in this kind of industry. It's a lot of quality control, it's a lot of documentation, and it's a fairly complex type of production. We operate out of 5 production sites. We have 1 in US, 1 in China, and 3 in the Nordic region. This is also where we are coming from the beginning. So we have a global reach, but we have a Nordic focus. We work in 3 market segments. I'm going to come back to them, but it's orthopedic, dental, and life science, all within medical technology. We are close to 600 employees, and we have sales close to 700 million Swedish crowns. Over the last 2-3 years, we have had a good, solid growth, a double-digit growth, and now we also have started to get profitability moving upwards in the company. But we have a long history as a company. Our company was formed in 1923, and we worked in a number of different areas within manufacturing, and then later moved into other areas of expertise. The regulatory part within the medtech, development of products, both own products and together with our customers, and finally as a complete solution partner together with our customers. For some of you, you might remember us under a different name. We had the name Västergyllen for a while as a company, and that we changed in 2008 when we changed the name from Västergyllen to Elos. We decided to focus on medtech as an area in 2003. And before that, we owned companies like Götenehus and a lot of other companies in other areas. We sold them, and we took that money to buy companies within the medtech field. So you can see we acquired a company called Pinol, then built a factory in China, and acquired a few more companies along the way. So the 5 sites that we have has actually been acquired during this time. And now we have taken those companies that we acquired, run by entrepreneurs, and formed one company instead of being a conglomerate. So that's a lot of the journey we have taken over the last years. What we want to do in the market, our vision is to transform medical technology and advance quality of life worldwide. We want to do this in a sustainable, innovative way, and as partners to our customers. I will come back to that partnership later on. The different business areas that we have, as I mentioned, are dental, and especially dental implants. It's orthopedics, and it's life science. I will go through this a little bit more in detail, what this actually means, what we do in the different areas. But in dental, we have own products, and we are a contract manufacturer. In orthopedics and life science, we are straight of contract manufacturers and developers to our customers' products. So, in dental, these are typical products that we do. It's implants, and I don't know how much you know about the dental business, but implant is the part you put into the bone in your mouth. Above that, you have a lot of prosthetic products that goes from the implant and up. So we do both those areas. We do instruments. And now I can't point by a pointer, so I try to point. This is a typical instrument. This is a torque wrench. That's one of our own products. And that one you use to actually tighten the implant into your mouth with an exactly correct torque. If you use it too hard, use too much torque, you will actually ruin the screw and the bone. If you use too little, it will take too long time to heal. So it's really, really important that you use the right kind of torque. Then we have drills. I don't have any drills on this picture. And we do other instruments together with that. So this is something that we do as a contract manufacturer. This, the product, the torque wrench, is our own product, but we only sell it to the implant companies. So not with our own brand. What we sell with our own brand is actually a number of products in what we call the digital dentistry field. If you've been to the dentist and you might have chewed in this rubber type of mask to get an imprint, that's old-fashioned technology now, and now you replace that with making a 3D scan. We sell the scanning abutment. That is actually something that you put into the mouth to get this 3D image. And then we sell a number of the prosthetic products that fit into when you have that CAD/CAM picture. By doing this, you take away a number of steps that need to be done when you put in an implant. And you also make it easier to get a perfect fit of your implant. So instead of having a tooth that might be 3 degrees in the wrong angle, you get it in perfect angle. So that's what we call the digital workflow, and this is where we have our own products called the Elos Accurate. The own products represent about 10% of our business and 1/3 of the dental business. And most of this is sold under our brand, but through the implant companies. So if you go to the big implant companies, you will actually find our products with our name that are sold that channel. So it's not something that is considered a competitive situation with our customer, but we actually complement their product range. The next area is orthopedics. This is an interesting and fast-growing area for us, where we actually just have built a new extension to our factory in US. We also, in this area, make drills, guide wires, screws, and pins. We're actually really good at drilling in bone, piercing bone, and fixating bone. And that's actually an area that we believe that we are one of the best, maybe the best in the industry doing this. So that's the area that we focus on. But apart from that, we also do plates, and if you've broken your hip, those kind of products, you see a number of them on this picture. But drills is the big area for us. And the last area that we have is a little bit mix of a number of things, the life science area. We have diagnostic products, hearing device products, and other medical areas. For example, injection pens for diabetes treatment, IVF treatment, the Petri dishes that are used for that, components for pacemakers, and so on. So this is a little bit wider. One area that is very close to dental implant is the component for bone-anchored hearing device. It's the same kind of technology that is built into those implant as it is in dental implant. And dental implant is actually kind of fun in the aspect that this is an invention that was created by the Swedish inventor called Professor Brånemark, that you might have heard of. And we actually manufactured the absolute first implant that was made in a factory in our site in Timmersdala. So that's an area that we've been in since the 70s. Historically, we have run this, as I said, as 5 different sites. Over the last 2-3 years, we have made this one organization. So we have one sales group for orthopedics, where Jody Gilmore sells to all sites, one for dental and then one for life science that I take care of. So the sales organization is something that works all over the sites. And why is this important? Well, to be a contract manufacturer to the big implant companies, they are billion-dollar type of companies. You need to be big enough to serve and small enough, in our case, to be agile. So you need to be able to have one site like in Timmersdala that specialize in some products, and then a site in Tianjin that specialize in others, so that we can actually help our customers throughout the organization. Our corporate headquarters is in Gothenburg. We moved it there a couple of years ago, and it's a very slim, small organization with only CFO and her team. I actually have my CFO here today, and then a QA person and one marketing person. So the total team is like 6-7 people in the headquarters. So, why does a customer come to us? What do we offer? We have a core experience in manufacturing metal for medical technology and plastics for medical technology. We do this not just by the manufacturing part, but also by developing and engineering services. So when they develop a new implant, we develop the instrument, we develop all the products that goes around it. We also do logistic solutions. So for a number of customers, we actually ship the products to the end warehouse. It could be in US, China, or wherever. So we can take complete responsibility for their warehousing. And then we help them with a number of other processes, finishing processes. But what is really one of the things that goes through everything is the quality part. I think we have like 20% of the employees that work in our quality department. So it's a very high part of our staff that works with this. And that's something that we need to also get our customers to pay for, which they're willing to do as we are experts in the same field as they are. So they come to us when they develop a new implant. They ask us, could you help us develop the instruments, those products, that will shorten the lead time for them to market, make them faster out there. It will increase their efficiency, and we have the same quality as they have. We have our own products in the same field, and that we complement theirs with. So we create a good synergy with our customers, and that will make them more efficient. That's also why it's possible for us to maintain a fairly good margin as a company, even as a contract manufacturer. We have some long-term financial and sustainability goals. When it comes to long-term financial targets on growth, it's 10% organic growth. Over the last 2 years, we've been above that target. EBIT, we have a target of 13% or above that. Last year, we were at 6%, and I'm going to show that we have improved in this area this year. Own products, we want to have 13% share. We are on 10%. This is an area that we believe is going to be really important for us to get the margin to be stronger, because we can maintain a higher margin on our own products. And then we have set a target to reach 1 billion in sales that we are aiming for to reach. We are moving in the right direction, at least. So this is the way that our result looks. We now have 11 quarters in a row with growth, which is what you have on the left-hand side. So we've had a good growth over a long period of time. There is one thing in this graph that is a little bit, maybe looks a little bit odd, and that is that we had a fantastic Q1 this year, and that was actually a little bit of an anomaly. We stopped working with one customer in life science area called Bryd & Kjær, and then they bought off the inventory and so that one is actually a little bit better than normal, and we then see that Q3 is a little bit lower than we might have hoped for, which is the same reason, because now they are completely out of our sales numbers. So if you take those two out, we have a good, solid, stable growth in the company. The operating profit has been developing from like 6%, and we are now up to about 9%. And you can see a good growth over the last 5 quarters. This has been possible through a lot of the specialization and efficiency work that we have done in the company. At the same time as when we grow, that we take in the right type of products within the company. Normally, it's difficult to get the profit increase while you grow in this business. So we are really, really happy about that development on the profitability. A little bit more in numbers, the same thing, that as I said, 2019 and 18, a growth over 10%, and EBIT going from 5.9 to 9.6%. This year, we have started to also give information to the market about the different segments that we have, how much we grow and how much we make in profit. I talked about life science. That's where we have Brüel & Kjær. It's a little bit special this year due to that business. So the growth is a little bit less, 4.8%, but good profitability. In dental, we grow 9%, which is a fairly good number when the market is growing maybe 4%, and the EBIT is 11%. But the outstanding growth we have this year is within orthopedics. 22% growth and a little bit lower profitability, and that is because it's difficult to make that much money when you grow that fast. And this is also one thing with orthopedic is that we've built a new factory this year, and we've done that with the same staff as supervisors as actually run the factory. So we are actually really happy with having the growth at the same time so we build the factory and maintaining actually a fairly good profit. So those are the three areas that we have. And the expansion in Memphis was finished. We inaugurated it in October this year. And now we then are going to fill it with more business. But where do we find the new business? Where do we find the growth moving forward? Well, we see that we're going to grow our business in robotic surgery in orthopedics. That's why we built a new factory. We have had a tremendous growth in robotic surgery over the last year, and we believe it's going to continue in a good way. I think we actually have a similar picture as surgical science for those of you that watched that presentation, but we come from different angles. They come from software, and we come from production. We believe we're going to have a good growth in own products with our product range, Elos Accurate, that we right now are starting to get approval for to sell in US. It's only been sold in Europe so far. And the third area is high-tech polymers within diagnostics. There we just decided to actually expand our facility in Skara. That production is starting this winter. So hopefully it's going to be a mild winter in that part of the country. So the way we see it, why are we going to continue to grow? Why are we going to be able to meet our targets? Well, we're going to continue to focus and specialize. We work now, instead of 5 segments as before, we're down to orthopedic, dental, and life science. Every factory is specialized in different procedures so that we make sure that we are really good at what we do. Because one of the things in production, like we work, the time to move from one product to another takes a long time and it's not efficient, and you don't make that much money if you change too much. By making the same type of product over and over again, give more profitability. So that's what we're doing in our factories. That's a journey we started, and it's going to take time, but we have definitely seen impact the last year. Internally, we work a lot on this, as I said, working as one company, moving products between the different sites. Operation excellence and continuous improvement. Scrap is one of our highest single costs that we actually can do something about. And we've had an excellent result of that this year, especially in a couple of our factories. Specialization I talked about, and then focus in market and sales growth. Within those areas like orthopedic and dental, it's important to be big enough so that you're still on the list of the companies that they want to outsource manufacturing to. The trend within especially orthopedic is to outsource much more than they had done in the past. We see that from all the big companies, that they want to focus on their core business, and manufacturing is not one of them. So if the market grows 3, 4, 5%, the outsourcing maybe grows twice that fast. I believe that we are, as a company, well positioned for continuous growth. We are positioned thanks to our global presence in US, Europe, and Asia. We have first-class quality, the same kind of quality as our customers has. We develop own products that can give us a better margin, and we do that most of the time together with the implant companies. We bring in new technologies, so to make sure that we are in line with where the market is heading. And all of this with a number of maybe 20 key account customers. where we make 90% of our business. So we're a really focused company with close collaboration with our customers. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So we also have time for a couple of questions. I think one of the first questions you mentioned, so your own products within this digital dentistry.
Yeah.
You mentioned that there's not in conflict with customers because you sell through them. What's the market like? Are the other competitors there? Anyone similar players to you that offer the same offer, or do your customer make their own as well? And could you just comment a bit on what the different competitive dynamics are?
Yeah, it is a mix. I mean, most of the own products that we have, there are a number of similar type of companies like we that deliver the same type of products that we do, or similar types. And then some of them, also the implant companies, our customers, they actually have that as their own products. If you take the torque wrench, for example, some of them develop their own, and some of them buy ours. And it's the same with the digital workflow. Sometimes they have their own products, and sometimes they buy ours. So, but it's not, as we have a solution that works for all platforms, all the different implant companies, ours is seen as a way to get into the customers in a good way for all the implant companies. So we don't see a conflict of interest in this. We actually see it as an opportunity to get closer collaboration with implant companies, and that's also the feedback we get.
Understood. And in terms of this US distribution deal, and you're mentioning that you're waiting approval, when do you think that would be? And could you comment a bit on the market potential in the US? Is the digital dentistry market different in the US compared to Europe? And
we believe that we will get the approvals in beginning of next year. And we have, as you mentioned, signed it already, a distribution agreement for the US market, so that we can start selling right away. The market is, if you talk about the size, it's about the same size, but it's a different dynamic. It's more bigger labs and fewer customers to actually go through, but Europe is more distributed into smaller customers. So it's a little bit different dynamic, but it's the same products for the same applications.
And you also previously this year announced a distribution deal in Japan. Could you comment on that as well? Is that similar? You're waiting approvals, or how is that developing?
Yes, it's the same, that we're waiting approval there. And then, as you can see, we also have added distributors in Europe to actually get our sales to improve in the markets that we haven't been so successful in yet. So.
Okay. And looking at the other divisions, so orthopedics and the US, you just finished your expansion there.
Yeah.
You're mentioning robotic surgery. That facility, is that one solely focused on robotic surgery? And are you only targeting the US market for robotic surgery? Or
it's a good question. No, it is only focused on orthopedics, that site. And we work on actually making 3 different types of products. It's drills, pins, and wires. Those are used for robotic surgery, but they're also used for all normal type of surgery. So the main part of our business is actually going to a normal surgery procedure within orthopedics. And most of our customers are US-based, but the product is distributed worldwide. And that's actually the case with almost everything we do within contract manufacturing, that we sell to maybe a head office, but then it's distributed worldwide. So if our product is used in one specific surgery kit from one implant company, then they use that worldwide. It's not that they have different suppliers in different parts of the world.
Right. And then you, in the Q3 report, you mentioned that when you mentioned in your presentation as well, that you're expanding your Skara facility, which is where you're doing polymer products, basically.
Yeah.
And I know you mentioned that this is happening a bit ahead of schedule. You were planning on doing this later. Why are you choosing to do it ahead of time? Is it pressure from customers, or?
We're doing it ahead of time because we're growing faster than we expected, and that you could say that we do have pressure from customers. Not that we are forced by them, but we work together with them on a sort of a plan on what's going to happen the next 2, 3, 4 years, together with their product and us. And when they see a growth that they need, they of course ask us, do you want to be part of this? Then you actually need to have capacity. And so it's we look at their long-term plans, and then we decide that this is a good time for us to do that. And if we would say no, we are not going to do that, then of course we face the risk that they would go somewhere else.
Yeah, and just I think we have time for one last question. This year you've done a lot of improvements with the operational excellence and getting your margins up. How much more is there to do there if you take it, if you compare it to your goal of 13% EBIT and you wouldn't grow your own products anymore? How much further do you think the group, how much is there to gain from further operational excellence?
I think that in operational excellence, it's a lot of things we still can do. But I think the biggest thing we can do is actually in the specialization that every factory work on products that they are really, really good at, so that we remove, cut the tail of products that doesn't really fit into our manufacturing. I believe, I mean, we have the target of 13% and that of EBIT, and that target we have no matter what happens with own products. So we definitely aim to get there. And I do believe it's possible to get there.
All right, understood. I think that's about all we had time for, but thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.